Thanks for tuning in to KT Garage. This is part 69 of the SuperHog build. It's another beautiful morning. We're in the mid 70s, but it's not going to stay long, probably a couple of hours, and then it will go up to 85, 90 degrees again. So I'm going to do as quickly as I can with the sanding, just so at least I make the first pass, and then we'll have to fill it up with body fillers again, and then we'll do the block sanding again. So it's a long process. Probably gonna take a few weeks to get the body work done, but I'm gonna keep at it, and I'll just continue to work on the hood until it gets too hot, and then I'll go inside and do the electrical work. So that's the plan for the day. I'll keep you guys posted. Okay, so this is where I left off from yesterday. You can see that the first pass already been done. You can see that right here, and there's a little bit of a dip here, so I'm gonna have to go back and fill it with body filler, and then we'll have to resand it. And then this side needs a lot of work, so this morning I'm gonna stay focused and trying to get this one side sanded all down. But with the power sander for right now, we're not gonna do block sanding just yet, since this is just a first pass at it. We'll keep you guys posted. All right, so my initial pass is done. You can see that I fill it again with the body filler. There's a low spot over here, and fill it back up. So it's gonna be my second pass. Probably have to wait until later this afternoon or tomorrow to get that second pass in. This is still pretty rough. It's just like, this is all power sanding for right now. But everything seems smooth enough. So I gotta go in there and start to hand sand it down, block sanding it. There's a couple of low spots. Now guys, when you do body fillers, just make sure that you use a good amount of the hardener, because if you don't, and you don't use enough of it, it doesn't completely harden, and it's soft enough for you to it's very difficult to sand it down if it's not having enough hardener. Now you have too much of it, you only have like probably a minute and a half, not even, so you got to be really quick. So this is what I did. Okay, so back inside, it's getting pretty hot out in the back building. So I decided to take the seat out. This is the driver's seat, so we can get this tunnel outside and get some of the electrical hookup on the gauges. So you can see this is the tunnel cover is flipped upside down, just so I can do some work to the gauges back here. And there's a lot of wiring back here, so you got to be careful to organize it, otherwise it's going to be a big mess. So I think I had it organized pretty well. And what I do is I link one terminal to the next. So I just got the positive side done so far. I still need to do the negative. So all these gauges need power, and it needs power to the light. So on top of the light, and then on the bottom is where you need positive and negative power for it to operate the gauge. And then there's a third one, and that's the signal wire. So that signal wire coming from the temperature sensor, pressure sensor, whatever it is always need a signal, and that comes from that one there. So then all you need to do is just tie all of this up. And the way I did this is so clean, because you know it's just like all hook up in parallel, one to the next. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with a negative one. So I'm gonna end up with like really nice setup. And then whatever signal wire comes in, I'll just go and tie it to each one of these, this hookup right here. So that's my plan. I still got to get the negative done. You can see that I got a bunch of these already pre-made. Just gonna need time. Now it's getting pretty late today, so I'm gonna go get some rest. Tomorrow morning I'll go back outside and do the work to the hood, and then when it gets a little warmer, I get back in here and do this and finish it up. I spent about 2 hours this morning doing the body work. You can see that it's looking a lot better. It's not the final coat or anything. It just, you know, this is just still being worked on. And so you see some spots here that I'm gonna have to fill that little spot and then resand it. But everything looks real nice, and it's kind of nice and smooth now. All the curves are, or the contours are looking a lot better. So what I did was, whenever there's metal exposed, I just hit it with this primer right here. It's just on the rattle can. And my objective is, because this is Sunday, I'm not gonna be able to work on it until next Saturday. So I don't want the metal to be exposed to the air, it'll rust. So I just hit it with that primer. And so next week I'm just gonna have to rub it all down again, because these primers are just temporary to cover the metal part of it. This primer is not meant to be permanent because they don't have the hardener in it. So all gotta be rubbed off when I'm done, and then I'll just hit it with another coat of sealer, and then we'll do the truck bed coating. So this side, I'm not even touching it for right now. You can see how long it takes to get this hood done. I'm thinking it's probably gonna take another, 3 or 4 weeks to get the body work done on this. I didn't think it would take that much, but it actually is a lot of work, because the hood, you can see there's a lot of contour to it, and I want it to look nice. Okay, so I'm back in the shop where the AC is. Spent quite a few hours tying up all the loose end. All the setup is done. You can see it's a little bit complicated. It's nice and clean though. Everything is tied in, so everything's organized. So basically, every one of this has a plus and a minus. This is all 12 volts, and so they need power to power the gauge and to make it work. And then they also need lights. So lights are hooked up into the plus and the minus, or positive and negative, because I don't want to have this on the different circuit. So when the accessory is on, the light's going to be on. That's going to be fine. And then each one of these has a signal wire. So this whole bottom row is temperature, well, most of it, and then some of these are voltages and different things, but the majority of the top row is for pressure. So you can see that I hooked up all the sensors, wires, and then get them down this way. And then these are all temperature sensors going this way. Now it terminates down here. And I'm gonna have to go get a really big connectors for all of this, so I don't have to plug it in once when I try to get the tunnel in and out. And these are marked. So for instance, like I'll mark 12 volt positive here, and then this is the ground. All of this is labeled. P1 means pressure sensor 1, and then P3 sensor 3, and then you see some T for temperature. So everything is marked. I'm gonna have to go into Amazon and start ordering the connectors so I can connect all this stuff. I'm probably gonna leave it out for the time being, but what I'm gonna do is I'll flip this over, and then I'm gonna do the test on the lights, make sure the lights are working. Okay, so when I flip over the tunnel, I wanted to put in this device, and basically it'll give you a couple of USB hookup, and this is purely for power. It's not gonna hook up to stereo or anything. I'm gonna do the stereo next, but this one I just want to get a couple of these for charging my cell phone or whatnot. So to install these is really easy. It comes in 2 parts, and so you drill a couple of holes, and make sure you drill pilot hole to get the screws in, and then under here drill another hole, but make sure you get a grommet on here because you have electrical wires. And so I drill those 2 holes and find out where this is, drill another hole, put a grommet on. So I'm gonna install it, show you guys the process on how to get it installed. It should be really simple. So I'm just feeding my electrical wires in right now. And then get these screws in. And that's it, guys. And then you just press this little plate on, plus the snap on, like that, and you're done. All right, so I hook it up to a 12-volt source from the truck just to test out the lights. Seemed like my entire circuit is working just fine. You see all the lights are lit up. That's a different color there. So this one I still need to hook it up to the O2 sensor. That's the air to fuel ratio. Now this one I still haven't hooked up yet. It's there, but it's not on. Like when it's on, and there's an on-off thing over here. You turn that on, and you can get the voltage readout from there too. So it's kind of neat. And look back here. These are the two wires I gotta hook up. Wow, check it out. It's all blue in there. Nice. So everything is working fine for the time being. Well, it's late Sunday afternoon. Time to go in and get some rest and prepare for the work week. So the plan for next week is to keep working on the hood for a few hours in the morning and then come inside and continue to work on the tonneau cover. I think I should be done by next weekend with the tonneau cover. The only thing left to do is just to get it hooked up into the truck. And well, before that, I need to figure out how to get the USB from the stereo to be on the dash so I can plug in the USB and get access to Apple Play and things like that. So we'll figure that out next week. I appreciate you guys tuning in to KT Garage. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.